Now, from the Lowcountry's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
South Carolina getting up to 300,000 doses of the coronavirus vaccine by the end of the year, but it must be kept in an ultra-cold freezer. We take you inside one of the facilities that makes them.
Well, because of this, you will need one of these over the next 24 hours. We'll talk about that, some chilly weather as well, and then what's next with our weather. We're live right now in prime time.
Some school districts seeing the number of failing students double from this time last year. In a Live 5 investigation, we talked with State Superintendent Molly Spearman about what the department is doing to help. Good evening and welcome. This is History in the Making tonight. Hospitals right here in the Lowcountry giving their first COVID-19 vaccine to healthcare workers. It is considered a breakthrough in the pandemic. The vaccine given almost 9 months to the day of the first COVID-19 related death in our state. Roper St. Francis is part of this milestone, looking to protect patients and the people who work to keep those patients healthy. That's where our Lisa Wiseman joins us from tonight live. Lisa, it's a pretty incredible moment to witness this history.
Oh yeah, very cool to see that really in the front row of all the action, those very first vaccinations, despite the fact that, a lot of those healthcare workers, of course, this isn't all that unusual to them. They're seeing inoculations, they're seeing healthcare in action, people getting shots, but very cool for the rest of us to witness really that history in the making. And Rolf, there are hundreds of healthcare workers all across the country that have died after being exposed to COVID-19. And with that first step today, Roper St. Francis is saying that they never want to see that happen here. Inside this makeshift vaccination clinic, which is actually an auditorium here at Roper St. Francis, the very first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were injected. Are you ready? I'm ready. After a bandage and some applause, 69-year-old emergency room technician Earl Jackson became the first person at Roper St. Francis to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
How you feeling?
Yeah. Feel good. Feel all right. I'm on a lucky one. You're the first one.
Then, shot after shot after shot, more employees who were on the front lines received their first doses of the vaccine, selected because of their risk of exposure taking care of patients. Like Arlene Watrobsky, a registered nurse for the emergency room. She says she was very excited to be one of the first, not hesitant at all.
No, not at all. I've been following the news, and the research and the literature very heavily, and I feel as though it's very safe. As I said, I really don't think we can wait.
Roper considers this all to be a bit of a dry run before they hit the ground running with vaccinations tomorrow. It'll all be done here in these little pods. They're trying to spread out just who gets the vaccination in each area, just in case some feel any of those noted side effects, things like fever or chills, and need to take time off of work.
We have our own hotline where they can call so that we can report any sort of vaccine-related adverse events. And they actually we have the number of their PCP and the name of the PCP, and so they have a mechanism to report any side effects.
So Roper St. Francis has 2,000 of those doses, and they're hoping to give them out to staff members here, exhaust that supply by Christmas. In downtown Charleston, outside of Roper St. Francis, Lisa Wiseman, Live 5 News.
A pediatric registered nurse at Medical University of South Carolina became the first in the Lowcountry to get the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine today. Her name is Shamika Champion, and she's had no concerns about the vaccine and says she's always been vaccinated. MUSC had originally planned to have vaccinations for their healthcare workers begin as early as 7 this morning, but shipping delays required them to postpone the vaccination. Today, 7 healthcare workers were able to get vaccines. Officials hope that by the end of December, everyone at MUSC Health who wants the vaccine will have been vaccinated. Trident and Somerville Medical Center healthcare workers will begin getting the vaccine tomorrow. The chief medical officer says more than 95% of doctors say they will get vaccinated. For now, you'll only see certain healthcare workers, first responders, and nursing home facilities get this vaccine, and that's because the state is currently in phase 1A of its distribution plan. State health experts say the goal is to prevent deaths, and that means frontline medical workers and long-term care facilities are the top priority. The state expects 300,000 doses by the end of the year. There have been almost 240,000 cases of coronavirus in our state since the pandemic began. More than 4,400 people have died. The state health department says there's no specific time frame for when we'll go to the next phase of distribution, but they say we could be in phase 1A for several weeks or months. Health experts will let us know when that vaccine will be available to all. We go live now outside where we're looking at a clear and cool evening, but we are keeping an eye on some rainfall for later on tonight. Our chief meteorologist Bill Walsh standing by, keeping us alert to it all. Hi, Bill.
Yeah, pretty cloudy out there right now and cool for sure, Raphael. In fact, there's radar picking out some of those light showers now moving on into the area. These are the showers we've been talking about. Really started talking about it last night at 11 and with Joey at lunch. Said we're going to see these rain showers developing around supper time, and that's pretty much what we are watching. Down to our south, we do have a developing coastal low. That's going to work its way along the coast during the overnight and then on into tomorrow, keeping things on the wet side for sure. As we go live out to Daniel Island now, 48 degrees out there right now. Kind of chilly throughout the low country. Going hour by 7 o'clock, we're in the upper 40s. Not much change at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, about 47, 48 degrees. So it does stay kind of raw. By the way, thanks to Rich Gillespie for that beautiful shot of his house. We'd like to see yours as well. When we come back in a few minutes, we will be talking about how long the rain will last. All in just a few minutes, Raphael.
The Department of Natural Resources honoring an officer who responded to this crash in Charleston County. How his actions helped save a person's life. Today, family, friends, and the community came together to honor a fallen North Carolina police officer. A funeral was held today for Mount Holly, North Carolina officer Tyler Herndon. Officer Herndon was shot and killed last week while responding to a breaking and entering call in Gaston County. He graduated from UNC Charlotte, where he majored in criminal justice. The department says he'd been an officer for less than 2 years.
If there's ever a question about whether someone's life mattered, look around. You guys drove in here, you saw the outpouring of love and respect and honor. I think you've got your answer for Tyler Herndon.
Mount Holly police say a fund has been created in his honor. The money will be given to his family. An officer with the Department of Natural Resources being honored for saving a driver after a crash here in Charleston County. The agency says Lance Corporal Griffin Allison responded to a crash on Highway 17 yesterday near the post office in Awendaw. That crash involved a pickup truck and a dump truck, and the driver of the pickup was trapped when the truck started to catch fire. Lance Corporal Allison and people from the dump truck helped free the driver just moments before the truck burst into flames. That driver is okay. And an update tonight out of Dorchester District 2. A spokesperson telling us all athletics for high school teams in the district will be suspended once the district moves to e-learning. That begins on January 4th. The suspension will last as long as the e-learning period lasts, which for now is scheduled to go for 2 weeks. Just this week, the district started allowing limited number of fans to basketball games, 2 tickets per player. Kevin Bilodeau will have more on the district's decision tonight at Live 5 News at 11. Coming up next at 7, some districts are seeing the number of failing students double from last year. What the state's doing to help catch them up. We sit down one-on-one with the state school superintendent to get answers.